Let's talk about the typical setup for the Zoom F6 field mixer and audio recorder. It can record up to 6 different microphones using an XLR input. For this tutorial, we're going to get the recorder set up for 2 microphones, a boom microphone and a wireless microphone. If you want to use more mics than this, the same setup procedure will apply. The Zoom F6 is housed in a field recorder case. This protects it and provides an easy way to carry and use it on set. The case includes 4 different openings that allow you to access the recorder for different purposes. When working with the recorder on a tabletop surface, the rear case flap can be opened to reveal a pop-up stand that tilts the recorder's face upward to make for easier operation in this mode. When operating the recorder while standing, the provided adjustable straps allow for hands-free operation when needed. To record your audio, you'll need an SD card inserted into the SD card slot found on the underside of the recorder. This is also where the battery goes, so insert the battery by sliding it into place until it locks in. Make note that in order to remove or replace the SD card, you must remove the battery. To do so, the battery ejection button is found at the base of the recorder, and you will need to unzip the adjacent side flap to press it while sliding the battery out of its slot. With the SD card and battery inserted, it's time to turn on the recorder. The power button is found on the side to the right of the front screen of the recorder. Press the button and hold until the screen turns on. The face of the recorder shows several buttons that are key for setup: the menu button, selection button, and the up and down arrows. To prepare for recording, it is best to format your SD card to ensure files save reliably. Please be advised that formatting your card will erase anything that is already on it, so transfer any needed files before following the next steps. To format your card, press the menu button, select the system menu, then select SD card, and then format, and then execute. Once the formatting process is finished, you can exit this part of the menu by pressing the menu button. While you're in the system menu, this is a good time to reset the recorder to factory default settings so you can set up the recorder exactly how you need it. This step is helpful if you're not the last person to use this recorder. To reset the recorder, select Settings, then select Factory Reset, and then select Execute. The recorder will reset and then shut off. At this point, press and hold the power button again to turn the recorder back on. Select your language preference, then input the date, then select Enter. The interface on the F6 recorder includes some primary information. At the top of the screen, this lets us know how much recording time remains on the SD card you are recording on. Notice that the number gets smaller every time we engage or arm a track. This is because you're adding more information in the files that will be saved during the recording process. Because of this, make sure only to arm the tracks you need to avoid using up space on your card. To the left of this number, you have the recording status indicator, letting you know when you are recording, and to the right is the battery indicator. The next section down shows the name of the last file recorded. If no recording has been made on this SD card yet, it will say empty folder. To the left of this is the current sample rate of the recorder. The section below that is our audio meters along with the decibel scale on either side of the tracks. This part of the screen will show you how loud each microphone is before and during recording. Notice that each number at the bottom of this graph correlates to the numbered faders on each side of the screen, as well as the numbers found next to each XLR port on the side of the recorder. When we rotate the fader number 1 clockwise until it clicks on, the number 1 on our screen is highlighted in red. This red highlight indicates that the track 1 is armed and ready for recording. If a track is not armed, it will not record any sound, even if a microphone is plugged in on that track. You should also notice on the right side of the track audio meters is a left and right audio meter that turns red whenever there is an armed track. By default, the F6 wants to produce a stereo mix of all individual tracks that you can use for reference later. Your faders are used to adjust the mix of this stereo track. But we have no need for this extra stereo file, so we should turn off this feature. To do so, press the menu button, then select Record, LR Track, On/Off, and then select Off. Press the menu button repeatedly until you are on the main screen. Now notice that your left and right track is no longer highlighted in red. This means that the final audio on your SD card will have recordings of every armed track, but will not have this extra stereo track. At this point, plug your microphones into each input as desired. I have plugged the boom mic into input 1 and the wireless lav into input 2. Arm each track by switching on fader 1 and fader 2. Notice there is a single click while you rotate each fader that switches the track on and arms it for recording. The boom mic will need to be powered by the recorder, while the wireless mic will not because it has its own batteries to power it. To power the boom mic, we will turn on phantom power for input 1. This will send power from our recorder through the XLR cable and into the boom mic. Press the menu button, select Input, select PFL, then select Input 1. Here we can change all kinds of settings for input 1. To provide phantom power, select Source and then Mic PH. Press the menu once to back up to our input menu. As long as we are here, we should perform a sound test for the boom and adjust our gain levels as needed. To do so, select the trim setting and place your microphone into position for the person you intend to mic. Have that person speak at a normal volume while you observe the audio meter on the left of the screen for this track you are adjusting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Use the selector switches to adjust the trim until your level comfortably peaks around the -12 dB mark. This allows headroom for peaks in audio. Adjust the trim level for each track to peak around -12 before recording to ensure you have a consistent recording across all microphones. Notice that each microphone trim level might be set slightly or drastically different from the others in order to get the same -12 value in the recording. This is because of several reasons, including the gain levels of each mic, the distance of the mics from their respective sound sources, and the natural volume of the person you are miking. Once you have conducted your mic test and established your mic levels, you are now ready to record. The F6 produces a PolyWAV file by default. For the purposes of this video, this means that a single WAV file will hold all of your separate audio tracks together in one file, and then once you import that file into an editing program like Adobe Premiere, you can easily edit each track separately once it is on the timeline.